Hey everybody, Kyle Sasser, and this is Great Homes Tampa Bay. Today we are talking about January real estate numbers in Hillsborough County. That's right, it's everyone's favorite time of the month. Statistics release time. So if you checked out last month's video, that trend is pretty much continuing with prices continuing to rise slightly. Definitely not as strong as it was 6 or 8 months ago when we were seeing 10-14% increases year over year. Nowadays that number is more down in like the 2-4% range. But inventory continues to climb. More and more houses keep coming on the market, which has caused that softening, and as long as that trend continues, we should continue to see that softening so far as home prices and sales goes. So every month, the local real estate board, the Greater Tampa Realtors, releases monthly statistics. These statistics lag behind in that usually it takes 30 days after the end of the month for them to come out. In this case, we were talking about January 2019 statistics in March. That's just the nature of the beast. It just takes them that long to compile all the statistics together. The other thing to know about these statistics is that they compare year over year, not month to month. Reason why is because in a normal 12-month year, so January, February, March, April, there is a normal cycle for the real estate market. So some months have a natural tendency to have more sales. Some months have a tendency to have less sales. Here in the state of Florida, we don't really have the winter freeze. We're like up north where nobody buys a house when there's snow on the ground. Down here we really don't have that, but we do see bumps usually that coincides with the school year. So like August, not really a good time to sell a house. It's a good time to list a house, but sales usually do slow down in August. It's just the natural cycle of things. So these statistics are comparing January 2019 stats to January 2018 statistics. So let's get started. The two ones that everyone always wants to know, hey, what's stuff selling for? So those two indicators are going to be the median sales price and the average sales price. The median sales price in Hillsborough County is $240,000. That is up 2.2%. And the average sales price is down 1.2% to $292,000. Now, my general rule of thumb is anything like onesie-twosie percents, either plus or minus, I usually consider that to be within the realm of normal variations, unless it's a consistent trend month over month. Usually, I would say that this indicates that the market is kind of changing and making a decision on what it wants to do. Like anything, one statistic is not going to tell the complete tale. We have to look at what all of the numbers are telling us. So let's continue on. Some of the other major things I noticed was overall new listings are actually up 5.6%. That means that there was 5.6% more houses newly on the market in January 2019 versus 2018. And that actual number is 2,083. So because I always like to actually put a number on these, like percentages, like what do they mean? Like 10% of 50 is going to be a whole lot more than 10% of 5,000. So I'm always going to give you that specific number so you have a little bit of context. So in this case, 5%, I think that's pretty significant. 6% increase in inventory. Overall, probably a good thing. Inventory has been constricting for the previous couple years. That means it's been harder and harder and harder for buyers to find a house. Just selection has been less and less month over month for the last couple years. So if you're a buyer, that's some positive news. There should be some more houses on the market for you to choose from. And then additionally, active inventory, which is everything that's for sale, not just new listings, increased 20.6% to 4,800. So that's roughly 700 more houses for sale in January 2019 versus January 2018. So that is once you start seeing like 20s, anything above like 10%, that should grab your attention. It should be like, okay, so there is definitely something big going on here. So inventory is up 20%. Again, that's good for buyers. With the length of time that inventory has been constricting, it's not necessarily a death sentence for the seller's market, quote unquote, that we have had for the last couple years. But what you're going to see is as that inventory continues to build, if that trend continues, prices are going to soften and things are going to start sitting on the market a little bit more, which we can already see happening in the next statistic, which is month supply of inventory, which says that if no new houses come on the market, how long would it take to sell through everything currently existing? And that is up 20.8%. From 2.4 months to 2.9 months, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're looking at the market as a whole, that is a significant increase. So, what else we got here? So I always like to dive into the actual breakdown by price point, because the real estate market really varies by price point. A $60,000 condo is going to sell in a much different time frame and for a much different percentage than a $1.3 million house. The actual work that goes into selling it is the same from a realtor's perspective, but the amount of time it's going to stay on the market and all that does vary quite a bit. So some things that I wanted to point out here. So medium time to contract, so that's the amount of time that a property is sitting on as an active listing until it goes under contract, has mostly gone up in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. So that means that homes in the $150,000 to $200,000 price range are taking 16.1% longer to go under contract than they were 12 months ago. Not so good if you're in the $250,000 to $300,000 price point, because it's actually a third less. So median time to contract for $250,000 to $300,000 homes in Hillsborough County are down 30% to 37 days. The next ones I usually like to look at is new listings. Overall, over most of the market, it's been positive increases, especially once you get up above like $300,000. You have plus 16%, plus 31%, plus 35%. So significant increases in the amount of homes for sale in those price points. If you are 250 and below, you're still going to have a pretty tough time. So this is one of those things that's not indicated by the complete market statistics. This is a very clear line where houses above $300,000, there's more and more and more and more and more coming on the market, which is probably going to result in those prices softening and them coming down a little bit. But for houses under $300,000, there's 5% fewer in the 250 to 300 mark. There's only 1.4% in the 200 to 250. There's 30% fewer in the $100,000 to $150,000 mark. So what we're seeing is under 300, inventory is still either holding or constricting so far as new listings go. And then above that, we're seeing inventory expanding. So we really have two markets at play here. And then the one we have to look at in conjunction with that is total inventory by current listing. And overall, that indicates that inventory is growing, with the exception of 150 and below. So if you are looking for a house above $150,000, you're going to have 34% more choices this year than last year. But if you're looking below 150, then you have 40% fewer choices, which is definitely going to put a crimp on your style. And finally, the other question everyone always wants to ask is the market going to crash? When can I buy a house for 20 cents on the dollar sort of thing? For those indications, we look at the last page here. And that is basically short sales, foreclosures, and all that good stuff. The trend on this has been down, 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 down. Basically, there have been fewer and fewer foreclosures and short sales month over month for months and months and months and years. And I'll give you the actual number. So January 2019, there was 32 foreclosures in Hillsborough County for single family homes. That's it. For short sales, which is when somebody sells a house and they owe more on the note than the value of the property, there was only 7. So if you see those numbers start to grow, then that indicates that people are defaulting on their loans, and there might be some bad stuff in the works. The numbers are still looking great so far as that stuff goes. And honestly, I haven't heard any of the shenanigans from the the mid 2000s where people were buying crazy homes without. I mean, prices are definitely up. We're definitely above the 2006 peak so far as home prices go, but there are still actual requirements and checks on financing to keep all that stuff in line. So that is the January 2019 market statistics for Hillsborough County. My name is Kyle Sasser. If you would like a copy of these statistics delivered to your inbox, there's a link below. Just go there, fill that out. I'll be happy to email them to you. That means that you get them a few days before this video comes out, because honestly it takes me a little while to circle all these things and print these fancy graphics and also put some thought into what the impacts of this are on the market. But I'll be happy to email you these reports. If you have a comment, if you think the market is the bottom's about to drop out, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a note below, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. I put a video out on statistics every month, and I do a lot of other fun and interesting real estate videos as well. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next month.